We have had a lot of expectations from the Knicks this season, but it's been pretty disappointing to say the least. Ranked at number 11 in the Eastern Conference standings, we're probably not going to be seeing them in the playoffs either. The management is seriously looking to change things around, but if one thing's for sure, is that the Knicks don't want Russell Westbrook. Keep watching this video for the latest NBA trade rumors and more. A quick fix. If you think about it, a quick fix as well, it's a quick fix. It's not really fixing anything. It's like buying yourself some time to figure things out and make bigger changes. That's exactly what the Knicks had in mind with Russell Westbrook. And honestly speaking, the Knicks definitely need some fixing after seeing their performance in the regular 2021-22 season. The city that never sleeps? More like the city that never wins. Of course, we're strictly talking about basketball. Anyway, acquiring a player like Russell Westbrook would have at least given the Knicks a fighting chance to pass the coming off season in somewhat a respectable manner. But according to some recent reports, we just found out that the Knicks are no longer interested in exploring the whole Westbrook deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. And considering the fact that Westbrook was definitely not the solution to their problem, the Knicks just dodged a bullet. What the Knicks should really be doing. If you think about it, the Knicks already have a superstar point guard signed with them until the end of 2023-2024 season. And even though Derrick Rose is out with an injured ankle, he's a solid point guard capable of solving all their problems. Now, to be fair, Derrick Rose has had a pretty sad career. It wouldn't be wrong to say that injuries are perhaps the only thing that came to mind when we talk about him, but still, he's a very talented player. And if he's able to get the ankle working soon, the Knicks will be back in action. That brings us to our next point. Why in the world would you consider acquiring Westbrook when you already have someone like Rose? Obviously, New York fans will argue that Rose is injured, but they're still not seeing the bigger picture. Let's break it down. See, Westbrook isn't a quick fix. He has value. He's a dominant player who likes to be heard. It's the same with Rose. He's an exceptional player capable of winning games single-handedly. He's certainly not going to be playing as the team's second point guard. So, what happens when these two players end up being on the court at the same time? It's the last thing the Knicks would want. Replacing Rose with Westbrook, or even worse, mixing the two. What the Knicks really should be doing is searching for a point guard who can play alongside Rose in the coming season. That'll help add that offensive edge to the team as well. Limited options. Unfortunately, finding someone that fits the team won't be an easy task for the New York Knicks. Russell Westbrook was one of the limited big names available on the table, and since he's out of the discussion now, the Knicks are looking around for more options. There are some good point guards in the market, but the Knicks will probably have to offer half of their team to even make a solid deal. Nevertheless, it'll be interesting to see how the Knicks approach their desperate search for a point guard. If they're unable to find one, the free agency will be their best option. Or they could always go to the trade market, but again, you're looking at a 3-player deal to say the least. That means trading 3 of your own to get one good point guard on your side. Might be worth the hassle. Still, options remain limited for New York's basketball franchise. A second option. This is a second option that you're probably not aware of at this point. It involves Westbrook, Rose, Fournier, Burks, and 2027 first-round pick. Just hear us out for a second. If the Knicks traded Rose, Burks, and Fournier in exchange for Westbrook and a 2027 first-round pick, it wouldn't exactly be a bad deal. Think about it. The Knicks can get rid of Rose and won't have to worry about mixing him with Westbrook. At the same time, the Lakers get a bit more variety in their roster, considering the fact that Westbrook hasn't really been able to adjust with the Lakers' offensive unit. Lake Life show editor Jason Reed also think this wouldn't be a bad option for the New York Knicks. Technically speaking, the only valuable player they're giving up is Derrick Rose, and Westbrook definitely has the ability to raise the floor of bad teams and help the front office generate some business as well. But even then, this deal is highly unlikely, since the Knicks have already been linked to a potential Jalen Brunson trade. It isn't exactly breaking news, but it's just interesting that Brunson would be the Knicks' priority this offseason. Anyway, Brunson will be an unrestricted free agent soon, and we can expect a lot of tugging from the Knicks. Other NBA news. A dark place. It was an absolute joy to see Chris Paul lead his side to an eventual victory over the Golden State Warriors on Wednesday night. And considering this is only the third game after the serious thumb injury, CP3 is already starting to look really dangerous. When most players have to nurse such a serious injury, it takes some time getting back into condition. You could also say that recovery is the easiest part of rehab, and the real challenge is starting to take on the workload for more than half an hour at a time. But CP3 faced none of these issues, staying on the court for 33 minutes with 19 points and 8 assists to his name. And while it's quite obvious he's already recovered physically from the injury, his mental health also seems to be on point. However, after the match, he told the press that the road to recovery wasn't as easy as it may have seemed. CP3 has said that he was in a really dark place when he wasn't playing, and that basketball is his happy place. Of course, it helps when your team is leading the entire conference by a huge margin, but still, we're not taking anything away from Chris Paul. He's done an awesome job getting back into the game. The Harden gamble. James Harden and Joel Embiid were supposed to be Philadelphia's unstoppable duo that would lead them to the NBA Finals. But honestly speaking, it's still a little too early to judge whether the duo can actually do that. We can clearly tell Harden still needs a little bit more time adjusting to Philadelphia's system after being traded as part of a blockbuster deal from the Brooklyn Nets. But things have started to get really serious at Philadelphia, and now the management is confused whether they should take a whopping $223 million million gamble on Harden. The equation is simple. Should the 76ers offer Harden the big money extension? Sports Illustrated Chris Mannix believes that there is no way Harden will not get the contract. He'll definitely be getting a contract. It's just a matter of time. What the 76ers are really concerned about is the fact whether it will be a good contract or not. Mannix believes that the 76ers should at least try to get one playoff run with Harden before his game starts to decline because of his age. Harden isn't exactly old, but he's just not worth a $200 million plus contract anymore, if you think about it. And we kind of agree with Mannix. Harden still has about a year left in him, and the contract will go bad sooner or later. So why not just take the risk if a championship is the possible reward? Makes sense, right? Return of the legend LA champion. Pau Gasol recently announced that he's exploring a possible return to the NBA. Yes, you heard that right. Pau Gasol might be coming back to the NBA. And while it's obvious he's not coming back as a player, he's going to be breaking a lot of hearts in Los Angeles. Pau Gasol played a huge role not once, but twice in the Lakers team when they went on to win an NBA championship. Pau Gasol has been offered a formal position with the team at the Golden State Warriors. Considering the intense rivalry between the two teams, Lakers fans won't be too happy if he chooses to join the Warriors. Gasol was heard talking about the opportunity. It isn't exactly a big opportunity like a coach or something. It's more of an under-the-radar role. He'll be part of some meetings, talk to players, and see the guys every now and then. It wouldn't exactly be the first time Lakers fans see an LA player work for the Warriors. That's it from our side, folks. So what do you think? Would Russell Westbrook have made a positive impact at New York? Or did the Knicks do the right thing by choosing to pursue Brunson instead? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Remember, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.